feeling left out. It's a sensation that can strike at the heart of our very being, leaving us feeling small, insignificant, and alone. But what if I told you that this feeling, often perceived as negative, could be one of the most powerful catalysts for personal growth and self-discovery? Yes, my friends, there's a good side to feeling left out, and today we're going to uncover the hidden treasure within this challenging emotion. Think back to a time when you felt left out. Maybe it was at a social gathering where you didn't quite fit in, or perhaps it was being passed over for a promotion at work. Remember the ache in your chest, the tightness in your throat, the burning desire to be included? Those feelings are real, and they're valid. But they're also incredibly powerful when we learn to... You see, feeling left out is not a dead end. It's a fork in the road. One path leads to self-pity and stagnation, while the other leads to self-reflection, growth, and ultimately to a more authentic and fulfilling life. The choice of which path to take is entirely up to you. Let's start by reframing what it means to feel left out. Instead of seeing it as a rejection or a failure, consider it an invitation. An invitation to what, you might ask? An invitation to get to know yourself better, to explore your own unique gifts and passions, to chart your own course rather than following the crowd. When we're constantly included, constantly part of the group, it's easy to lose sight of our individual identity. We can become so focused on fitting in that we forget to stand out. But when we're on the outside looking in, we have a unique vantage point. We can see things that those on the inside might miss. We have the freedom to question, to challenge, to innovate. Consider some of history's greatest innovators and change makers. Many of them were, at some point, outsiders. They didn't quite fit the mold, and that's precisely what allowed them to break it. Steve Jobs was famously ousted from Apple, the company he co-founded, only to return years later with fresh ideas that revolutionized the tech industry. J.K. Rowling was a single mother on welfare when she wrote the first Harry Potter book, far from the literary crowd. Their experiences of feeling left out didn't defeat them. It fueled their creativity and drive. But you don't have to be a famous inventor or author to benefit from feeling left out. Each of us has the potential to use this feeling as a springboard for personal growth. The key is in how we respond to it. When you feel left out, the first step is to acknowledge the feeling without judgment. It's okay to feel hurt or disappointed. These emotions are part of the human experience, but don't stop there. Once you've acknowledged the feeling, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow? Perhaps feeling left out at work is a sign that it's time to upgrade your skills or explore a new career path that better aligns with your passions. Maybe feeling left out socially is an opportunity to reflect on what truly matters to you in friendships and to seek out connections that resonate with your authentic self. One of the most powerful aspects of feeling left out is that it can spark self-reliance and creativity. When we're not automatically included, we're forced to create our own opportunities to forge our own path. This can lead to incredible personal growth and the development of unique skills and perspectives. When you're always part of the group, it's easy to fall into groupthink, to go along with the crowd, even if it doesn't feel quite right. But when you're on your own, you have the freedom to think independently, to question assumptions, to dream up new possibilities. This independence of thought is a superpower in today's world. In an age of constant connectivity and social media echo chambers, the ability to think for yourself, to form your own opinions and chart your own course is more valuable than ever. And feeling left out can be the very thing that cultivates this ability. Now, I'm not suggesting that we should seek out rejection or isolation. Humans are social creatures, and meaningful connections are vital to our well-being. But I am suggesting that when we find ourselves on the outside, we can choose to see it as an opportunity rather than a setback. Let's talk about how to practically apply this perspective in your life. The next time you feel left out, try this exercise. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that this feeling is temporary and that it has the potential to lead you to something better. Then ask yourself these questions. What does this situation reveal about my values and priorities? What unique perspective do I have from this outsider position? What opportunity for growth or self-discovery does this present? If I weren't focused on being included here, what could I be focusing on instead? These questions can help shift your focus from the pain of exclusion to the potential for growth and self-discovery. They can help you tap into your inner wisdom and find direction in moments of feeling adrift. Another powerful way to reframe feeling left out is to see it as an opportunity for empathy and compassion. When we've experienced the pain of exclusion, we're more likely to notice when others are feeling left out and to take action to include them. This not only helps others, but also connects us to our own humanity and capacity for kindness. Consider actively looking for others who might be feeling left out and finding ways to include them. This could be as simple as striking up a conversation with someone standing alone at a social event, or as involved as starting a group or initiative for people who feel marginalized in your community. By turning your own experience of exclusion into an opportunity to include others, you transform a negative feeling into a positive force for change. Feeling left out doesn't have to be a solitary experience. In fact, it can be the very thing that connects us to others who have similar experiences. The feeling of being left out can lead us to find our true tribe, the people who resonate with our authentic selves. Think about fan communities for niche interests, support groups for specific challenges, or subcultures built around particular values or ways of life. These often start with people who felt left out of mainstream culture coming together to create their own inclusive spaces. Your feeling of being left out might be the catalyst for creating or joining a community where you truly belong. The difference between feeling temporarily left out and chronic social isolation. While occasional experiences of feeling left out can be growth opportunities, persistent isolation can be detrimental to mental and physical health. If you find that you're constantly feeling left out and it's affecting your well-being, it's important to reach out for support, whether that's to friends, family, or a mental health professional. The goal isn't to never feel left out. It's to develop the resilience and self-awareness to use those feelings constructively when they do arise. It's about building a strong sense of self that isn't dependent on constant external validation or inclusion. True belonging doesn't come from fitting in with others. It comes from fitting in with yourself. When you're in alignment with your own values, passions, and authentic self, you create an unshakable sense of belonging that no external circumstance can take away. Feeling left out can be a powerful reminder to check in with yourself. Are you living in alignment with your true self? Are you pursuing goals and relationships that genuinely resonate with you? Or are you chasing after inclusion in groups or situations that don't truly fit? Sometimes feeling left out is a sign that we're on the wrong path altogether. It can be our intuition nudging us to reassess our choices and redirect our energy toward what truly matters to us. In this way, feeling left out can be a gift, steering us away from situations where we're trying to fit a mold that's not meant for us and toward a life that's authentically our own. This process of self-discovery and alignment isn't always easy. It requires courage to look within, to question our assumptions, and to potentially make changes in our lives. But the reward, a life lived authentically in tune with our true selves, is worth every moment of discomfort. As you embark on this journey of turning the experience of feeling left out into an opportunity for growth, remember that it's a practice. Like any skill, it takes time and patience to develop. Be gentle with yourself. There will be times when the sting of feeling left out is sharp, and that's okay. Acknowledge the pain, then gently guide yourself back to a growth mindset. One powerful practice is to keep a left-out journal. Each time you feel left out, write about the experience. Describe the situation, your feelings, and then challenge yourself to find at least 3 potential positives or opportunities that could come from this experience. Over time, you'll likely notice patterns emerging, both in the situations that trigger feelings of being left out and the growth opportunities that arise from these experiences. Another helpful practice is to cultivate a rich inner life. When we have a strong connection to our inner world, our thoughts, feelings, dreams, and values, we're less dependent on external validation and inclusion. This could involve practices like meditation, journaling, creative pursuits, or simply spending time in nature. The goal is to become comfortable with solitude, to find joy and fulfillment in your own company. This inner richness doesn't just help us cope with feeling left out. It makes us more interesting and self-assured people, which paradoxically can lead to more meaningful connections with others. When we're comfortable with ourselves, we attract others who appreciate us for who we truly are, rather than for our ability to fit in. Now, let's talk about how the experience of feeling left out can actually enhance our creativity and problem-solving skills. When we're part of the in-group, it's easy to fall into established patterns of thinking. But when we're on the outside, we're forced to think differently, to find new solutions, to create our own opportunities. This outsider perspective can be incredibly valuable. In business, it's often the outsiders who disrupt industries and create innovative solutions. In art, it's frequently those who don't fit the established norms who create groundbreaking works. In science, some of the most important discoveries have come from researchers who were initially dismissed by the mainstream scientific community. Next time you feel left out, ask yourself, what unique perspective do I have from this position? What can I see that others might be missing? Your outsider status might just be the key to unlocking a brilliant new idea or solution. This creative potential extends beyond professional or artistic pursuits. It applies to personal problem solving as well. When we feel left out, we're challenged to find new ways to connect, to fulfill our needs, to find meaning and purpose. This challenge, while uncomfortable, can lead to personal growth and self-discovery that we might never have experienced if we were always comfortably included. Consider the story of a young woman who felt left out at her corporate job. Instead of trying harder to fit in, she used that feeling as motivation to start a side business based on her true passions. Over time, that business grew into a successful career that aligned perfectly with her values and strengths. Her experience of feeling left out became the catalyst for creating a life she loved. Sometimes, feeling left out is a sign that we're outgrowing our current circumstances. Just as a plant might feel left out of the small pot it's outgrown, we too can outgrow relationships, jobs, or situations that once fit us well. In these cases, feeling left out isn't a problem to be solved, but a growing pain to be embraced. If you find yourself consistently feeling left out in a particular area of your life, it might be worth asking, have I outgrown this situation? Is it time for me to expand into a new pot, so to speak? This could mean seeking new challenges at work, expanding your social circle, or even embarking on a completely new life path. Remember, growth often involves discomfort. The same way that a butterfly must struggle to emerge from its chrysalis, we too must sometimes struggle to break free from situations that no longer serve us. Feeling left out can be part of this struggle, a sign that we're ready to spread our wings and fly. Now, let's address something that often comes up when we talk about feeling left out: the fear of missing out, or FOMO. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to constantly see what everyone else is doing and feel like we're missing out on all the fun, success, or opportunities. What if instead of FOMO, we cultivated JOMO, the joy of missing out? What if we reframe missing out as an opportunity to focus on what truly matters to us rather than what everyone else is doing? When we feel left out or like we're missing out, it's an invitation to tune into our own desires and priorities. Instead of reflexively trying to be part of every group or activity, we can thoughtfully choose where to invest our time and energy. This selective approach often leads to deeper, more meaningful experiences and relationships. Moreover, embracing JOMO can lead to a greater sense of presence and gratitude for what we have, rather than constantly yearning for what we don't. It allows us to fully engage with our current experiences, rather than always wondering if there's something better happening elsewhere. This doesn't mean becoming a hermit or never trying new things. It's about being intentional with our choices, guided by our own values and desires, rather than by a fear of being left out. It's about quality over quantity in our experiences and relationships. Another powerful reframe when it comes to feeling left out is to see it as an opportunity for self-reliance and independence. When we're not automatically included, we're forced to stand on our own 2 feet to create our own happiness. And this self-reliance is an incredibly valuable skill in all areas of life. When you can generate your own happiness, when you can motivate yourself, when you can solve your own problems, you become unstoppable. You're no longer at the mercy of others' approval or inclusion. You become the author of your own life story rather than a secondary character in someone else's. This self-reliance doesn't mean you never need others. Humans are inherently social creatures, and meaningful connections are crucial for our well-being. But it does mean that you have a strong foundation of self-trust and self-efficacy to fall back on. You know that no matter what happens, no matter who includes or excludes you, you have the inner resources to handle it. Developing this self-reliance takes practice. It involves consistently choosing growth over comfort, taking responsibility for your own happiness, and being willing to try new things even when you don't have a group to do them with. But with each step you take on your own, with each challenge you overcome independently, you build confidence in your own capabilities. This confidence, born from the experience of feeling left out and choosing to grow from it, becomes a magnetic force. Paradoxically, the more self-reliant and self-assured you become, the more people are likely to be drawn to you. They'll be attracted to your authenticity, your quiet confidence, your unique perspective. Now, let's talk about how the experience of feeling left out can actually enhance our empathy and emotional intelligence. When we've felt the sting of exclusion, we're more likely to notice when others are feeling left out and to take action to include them. This not only helps others, but also connects us to our own humanity and capacity for kindness. This enhanced empathy can improve all of our relationships. We become better listeners, more attuned to the unspoken emotions of others. We're more likely to create inclusive environments in our workplaces, social circles, and communities. In this way, our personal experience of feeling left out can become a force for positive change in the world around us. Moreover, this empathy extends to ourselves. As we learn to sit with the discomfort of feeling left out, to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding in these moments, we develop greater self-compassion. This self-compassion becomes a powerful resource, helping us navigate all of life's challenges with greater resilience and grace. Another often overlooked benefit of feeling left out is that it can clarify our values and priorities. When we're constantly included, it's easy to go with the flow without really questioning if that flow aligns with our true selves. But when we're on the outside, we have the opportunity to ask ourselves, do I really want to be part of this? Does this align with who I am and who I want to be? This clarity can be invaluable in making decisions about how to spend our time, energy, and resources. It can help us identify the people, activities, and goals that truly resonate with our authentic selves. In this way, feeling left out can act as a filter, helping us focus on what's genuinely important to us and let go of what's not. Consider keeping a values journal. Each time you feel left out, use it as a prompt to reflect on your values. Ask yourself, what does this situation reveal about what's important to me? What values am I honoring by not being part of this group or activity? Over time, you'll develop a clearer picture of your core values, which can guide your decisions and actions moving forward. Now let's address something that often comes up when we talk about feeling left out: the role of social media. In today's digital age, social media can amplify feelings of being left out. We're constantly bombarded with carefully curated highlights of others' lives, which can make us feel like we're missing out on all the fun, success, or opportunities. But here's the thing. Social media is rarely an accurate reflection of reality. What we see is often a highlight reel, not the full picture. The key is to use social media mindfully as a tool for connection and inspiration, rather than as a measure of our self-worth or inclusion. If you find that social media consistently triggers feelings of being left out, it might be time for a digital detox. This doesn't necessarily mean quitting social media altogether, but rather being intentional about how and when you use it. Set boundaries for your social media use. Maybe that means limiting your time on these platforms, unfollowing accounts that consistently make you feel inadequate, or focusing on using social media to connect with people who uplift and inspire. Remember, the richest and most meaningful parts of life often happen offline in real-world interactions and experiences. Use the time you free up from social media to invest in face-to-face relationships, pursue your passions, or simply enjoy moments of solitude and self-reflection. The value of solitude. In our society, there's often a stigma attached to being alone. We equate it with loneliness or social failure. But solitude, when embraced, can be incredibly enriching. It's in moments of solitude that we often have our most profound insights, our most creative ideas, our deepest connection with ourselves. When you feel left out, instead of immediately seeking to fill that void with social interaction or distraction, try sitting with it. Use it as an opportunity for solitude. This doesn't mean wallowing in negative feelings, but rather using the time for self-discovery and personal growth. You might use this solitude for meditation, journaling, or pursuing a hobby you love. You might use it to read that book you've been meaning to get to, or to take a long walk in nature. The key is to see solitude not as a punishment for being left out, but as a gift of time with yourself. As you become more comfortable with solitude, you'll likely find that you're less dependent on others for your sense of worth and happiness. You'll develop a stronger connection with yourself, which paradoxically can lead to more authentic and fulfilling connections with others. Now let's talk about how feeling left out can actually be a catalyst for personal reinvention. Sometimes being on the outside gives us the perspective and the push we need to reinvent ourselves to become a new and improved version of who we are. When we're comfortably included in a group or situation, there's often little incentive to change or grow. We might become complacent, stuck in familiar patterns and roles. But when we're left out, we're forced to reassess. Who am I outside of this group? Who do I want to be? This process of reinvention can be incredibly liberating. It's a chance to shed old identities that no longer serve us, to explore new aspects of ourselves, to align more closely with our true values and passions. Maybe feeling left out at work leads you to discover a new career path that better aligns with your skills and interests. Perhaps feeling left out socially inspires you to develop new hobbies or interests that connect you with like-minded people. Or maybe the experience of being left out motivates you to work on personal qualities like confidence, assertiveness, or empathy. The key is to approach this reinvention with curiosity and openness. Instead of trying to change yourself to fit in with others, focus on becoming more authentically yourself. As yourself, I could be anyone. Who would I choose to be? What qualities would I like to develop? What experiences would I like to have? Remember, this process of reinvention is not about becoming a completely different person. It's about peeling away the layers of conformity and people-pleasing to reveal your true self. It's about growing into the best version of who you already are. As you go through this process of reinvention, be patient with yourself. Change takes time, and it's normal to sometimes feel uncertain or uncomfortable as you explore new aspects of yourself. The important thing is to keep moving forward, guided by your own inner compass, rather than by a need to fit in with others. Another powerful way to reframe feeling left out is to see it as an opportunity for leadership. Often, when we feel left out, our instinct is to try harder to fit in. But what if, instead, we saw it as a chance to lead, to create something new that includes not just ourselves, but others who might be feeling left out too? History is full of examples of people who, feeling left out of existing structures or communities, went on to create their own. They became leaders not by forcing their way into existing groups, but by creating new spaces where they and others like them could think about it. Every subculture, every revolutionary movement, every innovative company started because someone felt left out of the mainstream and decided to create an alternative. Your feeling of being left out might be the seed of something much bigger than yourself. This doesn't mean you have to start a global movement or a Fortune 500 company. Leadership can take many forms. Maybe you start a local meetup group for people with a shared interest. Perhaps you initiate a new project at work that brings together other outsiders in your organization. Or maybe you simply take the initiative to reach out to others who seem left out and create a small, inclusive community. The point is to shift your perspective from how can I be included to how can I create inclusion. This shift not only helps you move past feeling left out, but it also allows you to make a positive impact on others and potentially create something meaningful and lasting. As you step into this leadership role, you may find that you develop new skills and confidence. You might discover strengths you didn't know you had. And you'll likely find that as you create spaces of inclusion for others, you naturally find your own sense of belonging. Now, let's address an important aspect of feeling left out. The role of self-talk. The way we talk to ourselves about our experiences has a profound impact on how we feel and how we respond to situations. When we feel left out, it's easy to fall into negative self-talk. No one likes me. I'm not good enough. I'll always be an outsider. But remember, you have the power to change this internal dialogue. Instead of beating yourself up when you feel left out, try speaking to yourself with kindness and encouragement. Replace "no one likes me" with "I haven't found my tribe yet, but I will." Instead of "I'm not good enough," try "I have unique qualities to offer," and the right people will appreciate them. This positive self-talk isn't about denying your feelings or pretending everything is perfect. It's about acknowledging your emotions while also reminding yourself of your inherent worth and potential. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you would offer a good friend. Practicing positive self-talk takes time and effort. It might feel awkward or inauthentic at first, especially if you're used to being hard on yourself. But with consistent practice, it can become a powerful tool for resilience and self-empowerment. Consider creating a list of positive affirmations specifically for times when you feel left out. These might include statements like, "I am worthy of love and belonging, regardless of who includes or excludes me. My worth is not determined by others' opinions or actions. This experience of feeling left out is temporary and does not define me. I have the power to create my own sense of belonging. My unique perspective as an outsider is valuable and insightful." Repeat these affirmations to yourself when you're feeling left out. Write them down, say them out loud, or even record them in your own voice to listen to when you need a boost. Over time, these positive messages can help rewire your thought patterns, making you more resilient in the face of feeling left out. Another powerful reframe when it comes to feeling left out is to see it as an opportunity for adventure and exploration. When we're always included, always part of the group, we tend to stick to familiar patterns and experiences. But when we're left out, we have the freedom to explore new territories, both literally and figuratively. If you're not invited to the same old party with the same old crowd, you have the opportunity to try something completely different. Maybe you explore a new part of town, take yourself on a solo adventure, or try a new hobby you've been curious about. This spirit of adventure can extend to all areas of life. Feeling left out at work might inspire you to explore new career paths or industries. Feeling left out socially might motivate you to travel, to meet people from different backgrounds, to expand your horizons in ways you never would have if you were comfortably included in your usual social circle. Embrace this opportunity for exploration. See each experience of feeling left out as a chance to write a new chapter in your life story. Who knows what you might discover about yourself and the world when you step off the beaten path? Now let's talk about how feeling left out can actually enhance our resilience and adaptability. Each time we face the discomfort of being left out and choose to grow from it rather than let it defeat us, we're building emotional strength. We're proving to ourselves that we can handle difficult feelings and situations. This resilience serves us well in all areas of life. The skills we develop in coping with feeling left out, self-soothing, positive self-talk, finding alternative paths, are the same skills that help us navigate other life challenges. Whether it's dealing with a professional setback, handling a relationship difficulty, or facing any of life's inevitable disappointments, the resilience we build from constructively handling feelings of being left out can be a valuable resource. Moreover, regularly dealing with the experience of feeling left out can make us more adaptable. We learn to be comfortable in a variety of situations, to connect with different types of people, to find our footing even when we're not in familiar territory. This adaptability is an incredibly valuable skill in our rapidly changing world. Consider keeping a resilience journal. Each time you successfully navigate feeling left out, whether that's by reframing your thoughts, taking positive action, or simply sitting with the discomfort without letting it overwhelm you, make a note of it. Write down what you did, how you felt, and what you learned. Over time, you'll create a personal playbook of strategies for building resilience, as well as a record of your own strength and growth. Another aspect of feeling left out that's worth exploring is how it can clarify our boundaries and help us develop a stronger sense of self. When we're always included, always part of the group, it's easy to lose sight of where we end and others begin. We might find ourselves going along with things we don't really agree with or participating in activities that don't truly resonate with us, all in the name of fitting in. But when we're left out, we have the opportunity to reassess. We can ask ourselves, do I really want to be part of this? Does this align with my values and who I want to be? This process of questioning and clarifying can lead to healthy boundaries are crucial for our well-being and for fostering authentic relationships. They help us stay true to ourselves while also respecting others. When we have clear boundaries, we're less likely to compromise our values or well-being for the sake of being included. We become more discerning about where and with whom we spend our energy. Moreover, having strong boundaries can paradoxically make us more attractive to others. When we have a clear sense of who we are and what we stand for, when we're not constantly shape-shifting to fit in with every group, we exude a sense of authenticity and self-assurance that others find compelling. So the next time you feel left out, use it as an opportunity to check in with your boundaries. Ask yourself, am I truly aligned with this group or situation, or was I just going along to fit in? What are my non-negotiables in relationships and social situations? How can I honor my own needs and values while still being open to connection with others? This process of boundary setting and self-definition is ongoing. As we grow and change, our boundaries may shift. The key is to stay attuned to yourself, to regularly check in and make sure that your actions and associations align with your true self. Now let's address something that often comes up when we talk about feeling left out: the fear of judgment. Often when we're left out, we assume that it's because others are judging us negatively. We imagine that we're not included because we're not good enough, not cool enough, not smart enough. But here's a liberating truth. Most of the time, other people are too caught up in their own lives to be focused on judging us. The reality is that exclusion often has more to do with circumstances or differences in interest than it does with our personal. Everyone has their own insecurities and concerns, and they are rarely centered around us. So rather than letting the fear of judgment dictate how you feel or act, remember that your value is inherent and independent of others' opinions. Embrace the opportunities to explore new connections and experiences that align with who you truly are. In closing, let's remember that setting boundaries and navigating social dynamics are part of a continuous journey. By staying true to yourself and recognizing your intrinsic worth, you empower yourself to build fulfilling relationships and lead a life that reflects your authentic self. Trust in your journey, and don't be afraid to step away from situations or people that don't honor your boundaries or true self. Your happiness and self-respect are worth the effort. Thank you.